Oh my gosh, the freaking humming scared me. Why is it so loud? Get away from the goblin. Oh. Hi nerds! Welcome back to West of Loathing. Where I guess we're jump scaring myself this morning. Holy crap. Okay. Okay, we're not gonna take today seriously, but what are we doing? We're playing West of Loathing. We're not taking today seriously anyway. So last time we got a bunch of ghosts out. And I'm angry twice, so that'll be interesting. Just looking at our quest items. We have the glass eye for the receptionist lady. I don't know what the tea service is for. I might just be dumb. And I think the rest of these are not for ghosts. Oh, fudge, that's right, because Mr. Gunn's room was divided into, like, a lot of parts. Okay, hold on, this is really loud. That's a little better. I can, like, hear my brain moving. Okay, that was the bowling alley room. Did we just, like, not go into that last room, then? The billiards room. Ooh, we get to play pool. No more lights. Looks comfy. Too bad you're too busy to sit down. Aw. It's a rack of billiards cues. I got the wobbly one. Why would I get that one? -1 moxie. The thing about people who buy billiards tables is that they're almost never the kind of people who will properly maintain their cues. This cue does not provide evidence to the contrary. Oh gosh, I looked at the freaking cheap cigars. They look like freaking baguettes. It's just a spittoon. It isn't of much interest because you don't have a long-standing and extremely unhealthy relationship with spittoons. Yet. Does that mean if I get more spittoons in the main game, I can come back here and there'll be something in this one? Is that a thing? It's both the biggest and dumbest poster you've ever seen. Wait, there's a trapdoor in the ceiling over here. Too bad you aren't, like, 11 feet tall. Wait, I want to know about the trapdoor. Hey, Mr. Billiards Man. Hey there, how's it going? I ain't interested in chit-chat, fella. Just billiards. Step up or shut up. Yeah, let's play. You pull out your cue and the ghost nods and racks the balls. He utterly trounces you. You just can't seem to make the balls go where you intended. That was as sad a showing as I've ever seen. Let me see that cue. Yeah, that's your problem. The thing's about as straight as a banker's handshake. What? You're gonna need to lay this back to true if you want a chance against me. Hey, I know where one of those is. Hold on. Did it just say Mr. Gunn's manliness room? It did. Oh, gosh. The manliness room. Crap. Do I remember where the lathe is? I think it's in the room with the carriages. Dude, I'm on a roll today. I wish he had started rolling. That would have been, like, perfect, but oh well. Yeah! Wait. Yeah, it's a lathe. Hey, maybe you can make the billiards cue less wobbly. Give it a shot. Jeez, that sound. Holy crap. You lathe, rinse, and repeat until the cue is fixed. Now we have the balanced one. It gives +3 moxie. Honestly, not that great as a weapon. But we're not going to use it like that. We're going to use it to actually just play billiards. Alright, Ghost, I'm back. You pull out your cue and the ghost nods and racks the balls. He proceeds to crush you. Something feels wrong, like your cue isn't connecting with the ball properly. The ghost shakes his head at you. Yeah, totally new at this, ain't ya? You gotta chalk your cue. Chalk? Can I borrow yours? Mine's ghost chalk. Wouldn't work. Dang it. Frick, so where do I find chalk? Also, why do I feel like that sign has a secret to it? Like, just the way the balls are arranged. Or is that normal? I don't know. I've only ever played billiards, like, once, and I, like, don't remember the rules. You know what? We're gonna come back to that ghost later. Let's see what's in Mrs. Gunn's room. The door is locked, and no earthly force can open it. Well, maybe a whole team of horses, but good luck getting them up the elevator. Knock. Knock, knock. Yes, who is it? Mrs. Gunn, I'm Otis Holliday. Are you with the ghost extermination people? Yes, ma'am. Florence Cunningham. Cunningham Ghost Annihilation Services. Otis is my assistant. I'm your what? Who's the county licensed ghost hunter here? Me or you? Okay, fine. I guess. Have you been able to exterminate all the ghosts? I still feel haunted. 10 of them left, according to the scanner. We're still working on it, ma'am. Don't worry. You can count on us. All right, please let me know when you've finished. Will do, ma'am. Probably the most sensible conversation we're going to have all day. Get out of here, Florence. I want to go to the music room. This is weird. The music is clashing. I like it. It's fun. This woman doesn't seem to be interested in anything other than cranking that hurdy-gurdy. Disconnect the crank. You definitely disconnect the crank from the hurdy-gurdy without altering the woman's attention, but it turns out you needn't have bothered. She continues to turn the crank, blank-eyed, even with nothing attached. Huh. You grab the end of the crank and pull her, very slowly, to the gift shop, where you find a Victorola to plug her into. Problem solved? What just happened? Oh, she's playing this now. She seems just as happy here as she was before. It must be nice to have a calling. What just happened? Back. Okay, back to the music room. So now there's a hurdy-gurdy. Without the lady here to crank it, the hurdy-gurdy is neither hurting nor girding. This is a bassoon. And you know what they say... What? Oh no! It boo! You always hated these things. A musty, decaying pile of old music books. Face them. Almost all of the books are dry, rotted, and moth-eaten, and fall apart to the touch. You do find a copy of Dueling Banjos, in reasonable shape, though. Okay. What's Dueling Banjos? There's a library call number written on the spine. Ooh, that could be interesting. Nothing left here but dust and a few loose treble clefs. There's some sheet music on the piano. Grab it. Weird. It's blank. Play Dueling Banjos. I can't play Dueling Banjos by myself. I don't have enough arms. Florence? Sorry, I only play the bagpipe, and not very well. If it's a bagpipe, how do you know? What about you, Alice? No thanks, I'm busy. Doing what? Drinking. While not playing the piano. You guys are no fun. Arr. Mr. Conductor, are you good? If the ghost... This is the ghost of an orchestra conductor. Unless he's the ghost of someone pretending to be an orchestra conductor. Either he's very agitated about something, or he's conducting Flight of the Bumblebee. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but I can't actually hear the music. What are you conducting? It is the finale of the year 1812 Solemn Overture by Tchaikovsky. Oh, the 1812 Overture. Sure. That would have been my second guess. Is this your orchestra? Like, double ghosts or something? What? I see. No, there is no orchestra. I merely have this piece of music irrevocably lodged in my head, and it has been nagging at me incessantly ever since my death. This is just a guess, but did you die during a performance of the 1812 Overture? That is very correct, yes. Very astute of you. And the finale of that piece features real, actual cannons, right? Is that how you died? If it was my fate to be slain by a piece of music, cannons would have been far preferable to my utterly farcical demise. I'm gonna guess that he got crushed by a tuba. The overture requires several cannons, because it is impossible to load a single cannon quickly enough to fire as the score demands. However, the stage we were performing on could not have borne the weight. What did you do? I was not informed of the difficulty until it was far too late to make any changes. It transpired, and the stage manager decided it would be sufficient to give a box of bullets to the tuba player. I was close enough! I was shot, as you say, by a tuba! I knew it was the tubas! I knew it! It's always the tubas! Wow, no wonder you ended up as a ghost. Oh, it isn't the ridiculousness of my death that troubles me, really. Accidents happen, as with any of the performing arts. A colleague of mine was decapitated by an errant cymbal during a performance of Paganini's Violin Concerto No. 1. Such are the risks we take for our art. Gosh. It would be a cymbal player that would do that too, gosh dang it. The problem is that the 1812 Overture's finale is a very dramatic and energetic piece. With this constantly replaying itself in my head, I've been utterly unable to find any peace. I'll see if I can think of a way to help. So I'm betting I have to play the banjo music for him to get it out of his head. Meaning we're going to the library. This sunflower is still extremely suspicious. We're gonna go to the library. Library's on the second floor? Yeah. Miss Librarian. Can you help me with some library stuff? You find the shelf where the dueling banjos belongs and puts it back to the previous book on the shelf. The previous book on the shelf is entitled Duel Law, which seems to be about legal issues surrounding dueling. You never know when that might come in handy. Wait, isn't that the freaking gun law thing? A thick legal tome explains all the laws about dueling with things other than banjos. You learn all about the laws pertaining to dueling, and it turns out that when two guys want to murder each other in a fair and reasonable manner, things get legally tricky. Then you put the book back on its shelf. Wait, fudge, but I needed to learn about banjos! Fudge. Okay, and now we're back to we don't have any idea where to start. Fudge! Okay, wait. Maybe let's go talk to the gun law person. Where were they? Were they in the gallery? I think they were in the gallery. Yeah, that seems right. Hi, Paul. You. What's your problem? No, I need gun law! But I have dueling law! Fine, what's the maximum legal caliber for a civilian handgun? 800! 800! Fudge. Okay. Maybe... dual law. Oh, I got 5 pistol attack damage. About a specific subset of gun law pertaining to duels and duel-adjacent activities. Gosh dang it, we were so close! Okay, the dictionary's not helpful. Let's go give the lady her eye back, because I meant to do that, and we got, like, super sidetracked. Guest rooms. Yes. Hi, lady! Hello again, dear. Were you able to find me a new eye? Yeah, kind of. How kind. Thank you very much. She takes the glass eye from you and puts it in, whereupon it falls through her and onto the floor. She tuts and picks it up. Oh dear, it's a little too... physical. Yeah, I wasn't certain that this would work. Don't worry, it's easily fixed. Do you have a hammer I can borrow? I do have a hammer because we, like, grabbed it in a bunch of nails. That'll do nicely. Thank you. She takes the hammer, places the glass eye on her deck, and smashes it with a precise crack. Ah, perfect. She gives you back the hammer and plucks the ghost of the glass eye from the shattered fragments after blowing the dust off of it. She tucks it in her eye socket. Oh gosh, why does it look like that? That fits much better. Does it work? Well, now that you mention it, no, I can't actually see with it. It is the ghost of a glass eye, after all. Oh dear, this won't do at all. What a shame. You know, I don't really understand why your eye is still missing. What do you mean? Well, I always assumed that when someone loses an arm or something, it just sticks around them as an arm ghost. That's why people say they can feel it itching sometimes, because you've still got an arm there, but it's a ghost. It's even called phantom limb syndrome. Otis, why are you smart enough to know about this? So logically, if the rest of you becomes I can't take this seriously anymore. If the rest of you becomes a ghost after that, it would hook right back up. But then, where did my eye go? Maybe it got pushed back inside your head? The ghost thinks about this for a second, then shakes her head. No, that seems... Wait. What? I do think I felt something just then. She shakes her head again. My goodness gracious. Keep going. Oh, yeah. Keep going. It's like one of those puzzles where you try to get the marble in the hole. She bends her head forward and continues shaking it. You can almost hear a faint rattling sound and then a plop. She straightens back up, blinking, with 2 eyes. You did it! Well, I'll be. Thank you so much, dear. I never would have thought of that. No problem. Oh, fudge, I'm doing it. No problem. Have a nice time in heaven or whatever. The ghost gives you a friendly wave and fades out of sight. Well, that's that done. We did it! We got a ghost! And now I can just, like, walk into this room whenever I want. You needed supplies for your comedy joke, which was cigars, right? Ultra-realistic stink bomb using pure methane gas. But turns out pure methane is actually odorless. Hey, wait, but you needed... Okay. Okay, I only have the cigar part of the exploding cigars. I need the exploding part now. Fudge. Okay, we're getting somewhere, though. Like, pieces are connecting. And there's still a room on the 3rd floor we haven't been to yet. Dude, why is it bumping in here? Like, straight up, listening to this music, it almost sounds like somebody in one of these rooms is playing, like, Jackbox games. You do not trust this horse one bit. It's a blank chalkboard. Wait, there's chalk! You monster, why would you write that? You should make sure nobody... Why can I not read? You should really make sure that never happens to anybody again. I got blue chalk. Isn't that like the exact color of chalk that, freaking... And if you want to trick somebody into thinking the sidewalk is the sky. Do I have to go back to the billiards guy for this? We might. It's a doll mine. How adorable. Just look at all the little miners and mine carts and mine shafts and bowls of mine strewn. But what's this? I got a tiny stick of dynamite. Tiny stick of dynamite. Did you know that firecrackers are just tiny sticks of dynamite? And that this is an even tinier one? And that technically a pumpkin is technically a berry? What the frick? Wait a second. If you stuck this into one of your cigars... What if you stuck this into one of your cigars you found? What if that? We got an exploding cigar! Hilarious! Dude, we're cruising! What am I doing? This room. Hi. Gosh, I love creepy music. Like, actually, this is super calming. It's full of baby supplies you don't understand, like feeding pillows and, swaddling scissors. The composition of this painting is bad in every way. This teddy bear has been completely and enthusiastically disemboweled. Oh, poor teddy. Oh! Looks like this is where the creepy music is coming from. Transcribe it. We got the spooky lullaby music. Gosh, it's so pretty. No more lights. toys. It's a toy box. Who knows what horrors it contains? Let's find out. We got a stuffed gun. I can't say that word. I don't know how to say it. Stuffed gun. It's not at all as effective as a real gun, but it's also not as all affected. But it's also not at all effective as a bludgeon. It does 1 damage. I love it. Some wooden blocks with letters on them. We all know where this is going. Boo! It's those scary blocks. This is more of a 3.5 poster bed. This guy has a smile frozen on his face, and his eyes dart around in panic as he pretends to sip tea. One eye twitches as he tries to whisper to you out of the corner of his mouth. What was that? A drop of sweat rolls down his brow, and he stares at the little ghost, who doesn't seem to have noticed. Still not getting it. Can you speak up? His hands are shaking. If he were holding an actual teacup, it would probably have shattered by now. He hisses at you through his clenched teeth. Sorry, I can't understand you. Bye. This little girl ghost is serving imaginary tea to her guests. The doll, while terrifying, is largely indifferent. The museum employee, on the other hand, is playing along with a rictus grin on his face. The little girl wears an annoyed and disappointed frown. Hello there, my name's Otis, and can I join your tea party?
If you want, I guess, but it's a terrible tea party.
Aw, what's wrong? Aren't you having fun?
All I have is this dumb, made-up tea. I want a proper tea party, like Mama took me to.
Tell me more about that party.
We went to a real tea room. It was so pretty. There were vases with flowers in them, and everyone was all dressed up in suits and pretty dresses, and there were white china teacups for tea. Real tea, not imaginary.
Well, that sounds nice.
It was. It was so nice, and everyone was so polite and charming and elegant. Well, until the fighting started anyway.
Uh-oh. There was a fight?
Well, 2 of the gentlemen there got into an argument. I don't know what it was about, but I guess one said something to the other one, or something that the other one didn't like, and he was so insulted he threw his tea right in the first man's face. And when they took out guns and started shooting at each other right there in the tea room.
Whoa.
They were still really elegant, though. They had little silver and ivory pistols, and they kept their pinkies out the whole time. Anyway, I don't remember the rest very well, except for one of them missed the other and shot me by mistake.
I'm so sorry.
Thanks, but it's alright. Heaven's supposed to be really nice, so I guess I don't mind so much. But I didn't get to finish my tea party, so I want to have another one before I go. Except I didn't have any tea, and make-believe tea isn't fun anymore.
Alright, let's see if I can... Okay, I'll see if I can't find some actual tea for you. I mean, I have a tea set. I'll make tea from your tiny bones. No. Leave this guy alone. Okay, I have a tea set. Do I maybe need to go back to the kitchen? Because I have this. Like, I have a teapot and teacups. But I don't think they have actual tea in them. Okay. This is the room where the freaking 80s music is coming from. And more science stuff, but there's a lot of stuff in this room. This is a much nicer vanity than that of the average Frontier tea. You use the various powders and creams and pomades to make yourself slightly more presentable. Nice. It's a Daniel Boone poster. One corner is loose. Let's see what's behind it. Ah, no! Wait, I didn't actually expect that one. Dang it. There's a plaid skirt in here. Man, that's sort of like a legless pants. Yo! There's nothing else of interest in here. Probably. Yeah, well, there might be a portal to a magical fantasy realm in the back or something. I mean, you never know. Search it. Well, you don't find any magical portals, darn, but you do find a diary. You flip through it, and there's nothing of particular interest, except an entry about how the author was excited to leave for sleepaway camp the next day with her sisters, and how she was thankful to someone called Uncle Chet for getting the tickets, since it was gloomy around the manor ever since her father went missing. That's the last entry. Okay, there's nothing else of interest in here. It looks like someone forgot a book under the bed. Ooh, gimme. The title is Fun Law. Oh my gosh! The game is leading me on here. Why? Fun Law. Rules for 71 parlor games and assorted amusements for children. Frick, let's learn it. If you wanted to learn how to play Pinochle, Sass the Bandit, Polly's Maiden Aunt, or Sit Quietly, then this is the book for you. You flip through the book. Unsurprisingly, it's mostly about ways bored children can stay out of the parents' hair for just 5 minutes. It also has a little tag on the spine indicating it came from the mansion library. Okay, so we can use that. There's also a book over here. Someone has been slacking on their geometry homework. Let's do it for them. You decide to just take the book with you and do the assignment later. I'm gonna learn geometry, guys. Rufus would probably understand this, but you sure as heck don't. Who's Rufus? It's a box of science stuff. That's more upgrades for Florence. What is this devil's music? Turn it off. That is so quiet. You yank the needle away from the cylinder and hide the handle away. Yeah, I like it. It's fun. Once again, it kind of sounds like Jackbox music to me. Okay. So we got the legless pants. Thanks for that, Alice. That scared the crap out of me. Okay. Guys, my brain, it's slowly turning. This isn't where the library is. Go on to the second floor. We need to find the Fun Law book. You find the shelf where Fun Law belongs and put it back. The next book on the shelf is entitled Gun Law, which might even be more entertaining. I will definitely give this a shot. Dude, we got it. We got the Gun Law book. Okay. This book is an overview of the laws regarding guns, which, even at this point in history, already don't make any sense. Read it. You learn basically everything there is to know about gun law, and now you can be the prosecuting attorney and defense counsel in addition to judge, jury, and executioner. Ah, yes. Time to dispense some justice. It also says I got a perk, though. Ooh. That's really good. Alright. Hey, lady, I'm coming back for you. I don't know why, but she's the one that, like, bothered me the most, so... Come on, lady, what's your problem? It's legal stuff you'd never understand. Well, in fact, I think you'll find I'm quite conversant in the finer points of our justice system, particularly as it pertains to guns and gun-related activity. Horseradish! You're all trousers and no beliefs. Oh, yeah? Well, just try me, smart lady. Fine. Obviously, you aren't going to leave me alone, so just ask your questions. I'm Otis Holliday, speaking for the record. State your name, occupation, and cause of death. Felicity Wainwright, defense attorney. Lost a court-approved trial by combat. What? A trial by combat has been outlawed for like 15 years. You do understand that ghosts don't visually age as time passes, right? Oh, right. So, your client called for trial by combat, which means you and the prosecutor had to face off in a duel. That's correct. And you lost. She squints at you. Are you acting dumb to try and throw me off guard? I withdraw the question. Why are you stuck as a ghost? Because although trial by combat was already well out of fashion at the time, it was still a valid legal recourse. I should have been prepared for the possibility, but I wasn't. My lack of training resulted in an innocent man being executed for murder. Ooh, how was he executed? Hanging, I assume. Obviously, I wasn't around to see it. So to release you, I need to prove that the loss wasn't your fault. The trial duel was completely fair and above board. There is no chance of there having been any foul play on the prosecutor's part. My loss was my own. Then I'd have to prove your client was actually guilty, and therefore your feelings of responsibility are misplaced. The look she gives you is hard and cold. Look, you think you know a thing or two about the law? How about you tell me the first rule of being a defense attorney? Don't make fun of the judge's beard. Don't refer to the gavel as his weird little hammer. Don't accidentally call him Mom. I like the hammer one, because, oh my gosh. You have to trust and believe in your client. If you don't believe your client is innocent, you'll never convince anyone else he is either. So, if I want to convince you that he was guilty, you'll have an uphill fight, fella. You are especially playing prosecutor here. You're essentially playing prosecutor here. Alright, tell me about the case. My defendant was Matthew Guilty McReady, accused of murder of Victor Vic Timsbury at noon on June 18th, 1878 in Reno. I have some questions. Go ahead. Your client was actually named guilty? Ooh, fudge. I have to, think carefully, I think. Crap. Guys, I'm not good at this. His name was... Your client was actually named guilty. Come on. Names don't mean anything. I once had a client named Ike Allega. I don't know how to freaking read. I don't know. And he was totally innocent. For someone's actual legal name, sure, but nicknames are usually given with some sort of basis. You've never met a really tall guy named Tiny, or a fat guy named Slim. Arguably, the nickname Guilty would reinforce my client's innocence. That's totally absurd, but I'll let it rest for now. Let me ask something else. What was the cause of death? Timsbury was shot through the heart with a .45 caliber revolver. And did McReady own such a gun? Yes, he was holding it at the time, and a subsequent examination showed that it had been recently fired. Are you messing with me? Any further questions? Yeah. Yes, I do have some more questions, yeah. Was this at noon precisely? Yes, it was confirmed by witnesses. Also, McReady owned a fancy pocket watch that chimed on the hours. There were witnesses. About a half dozen of them. I'm pretty sure there's something you aren't telling me. I'm not obligated to play my hand face up, Mr. Prosecutor. Okay, then. Go ahead. Gosh, how is this the second time we're going into a legal battle on this channel? Hang on a second. Shot with a pistol in front of witnesses at exactly noon. Was this a duel? So you can add 2 + 2 after all. Well done. Well, as luck would have it, I've just recently read a whole book about duel law. What? Why? No reason, I just happened across it in the library and thought it might be interesting. You read an entire code of law you found at random just for the heck of it? Yeah. Let me do a quick review. A duel is legal provided it's between exactly 2 people at a specific prearranged time and place, using the same or essentially similar weapons. Or at least essentially similar weapons. And they have to either face each other down and quick draw at the appointed moment, or do 10 paces, turn around, and fire routine. Is that right? That is the gist of it, yes. So, let's start with you telling me the facts of the case, and I'll interrupt you rudely if I have any questions. Alright, but if you push me on trivial nonsense, I'll get mad and you'll have to start over. Oh. That seems fair, go ahead. McReady and Timsbury got into an argument in a saloon on the evening of June 17th. Apparently, Timsbury accused McReady of cheating at poker. Let me see if I have any questions. I have some questions. Shoot. The name of the saloon, what day of the week was this? Tell me more about the argument. There isn't much to tell. The other players in the game had already folded their hands that round, so they weren't paying very close attention. All we know is that Timsbury suddenly accused McReady of being a dirty, cheatin' varmint, and said Timsbury was just sore because he had been losing all night. Did McReady have a history of cheating? He had been accused of it once or twice before, but Reno's a gambling town, and he had hung out in the rough part of it. Getting accused of cheating by a sore loser when you're on a lucky streak is par for the course. But if McReady had a history for cheating, it would be irrelevant because the reason for the duel is immaterial to the legality of the duel itself. Motive isn't an issue here. But remember how I warned you about ticking me off with stupid digressions? This is an excellent example. Fine. What happened next? The bartender yelled at them to take it outside, but since it was already dark, they agreed to meet for a duel the next day. And that would be the 18th, you said. Yes, June 18th, 1878. Okay, go on. Well, the next day, they both showed up shortly before noon and squared off about 30 feet from each other. When noon struck, McReady fired, fast enough that Timsbury didn't get his shot off, on account of having his head shot off. That's pretty much the long and short of it. I'm gonna have to ask for some more details on that. Okay, fudge. What weapons were they using? McReady had a .45 caliber single-action Army revolver. Timsbury had an older model, a .36 caliber cap-and-ball Navy revolver, which he loaded with paper cartridges instead of packing the gunpowder by hand. Those are significantly different weapons. Ow! That sound hurted my ears. Are you kidding me? They're both pistols. A modern cartridge revolver versus an antique cap-and-ball loader? Ridiculous! That antique was still in production until 1873, and was considered one of the most reliable and popular six-shooters in the territories. Furthermore, the restriction against differing weapons in a duel about pistols versus rifles. The restriction against differing weapons in a duel is about pistols versus rifles, or the proverbial knife in a gunfight, or as a more recent example, a nitwit trying to argue the law against a professional attorney. Jeez, that's a bit harsh. We're done here. Get out. I'm coming back. We ain't done yet, lady. Okay, so they're not different weapons. Let's go. Okay. You know what? Let's ask some of the other questions. What was the name of the saloon? The Two-Headed Horse. Weird. Did they have one? No, I think the proprietor was going for a short of double entendre, but it didn't really work. Huh. No, it really doesn't. The two-headed spider, maybe, but anyway, do you have any other questions, or can we get on with this? I have more questions. What day of the week was this? Monday. Monday, June 17th, 1878. Well, that makes sense. Everyone's always a bit grumpy on a Monday. Uh-huh. They should make the weekend Sunday, Monday instead. Then you can spend Monday on relaxing instead of having to go to work. But then, whatever. Do you have any other questions? Yeah, I want to ask something else. Okay, we already got this. I have another question. Actually, never mind what happened next. Okay. Oh, here we go. So, why didn't they fight right then? Because it was dark. You can't have a gunfight in the dark. No, I get that. But they could have just had a regular old fist fight. If they were mad enough to shoot each other to death, why not just punch each other? Well, without getting too psychoanalytical, these guys were gunfighters. I mean, they counted that as a specific part of their identity. Fighting without guns was not just outside their wheelhouse. They considered it a waste of their time and talents. Like asking a fancy French chef to make you a grilled cheese sandwich. I want a grilled cheese sandwich. Let me ask something else. Why didn't they just not fight? What? Well, a fight breaks out in the heat of the moment. That's one thing. But they cool off to schedule a meeting for the next day and still go through with it. A card game is a heck of a thing to get killed over. It's an honor thing, I suppose, and they were each confident that they wouldn't be the one getting killed. Yes, it's dumb, but it's also extremely immaterial. Toxic definitions of masculinity and the general lawlessness of the frontier are not what's on trial here. Fair enough. Let me ask something else. Did they set up a specific time for the duel? Yes, high noon. Figures. Why is it always high noon? Tradition, I suppose. And since the sun is at its highest in the sky, everything's brightly lit and there aren't many shadows. So that's good for gunfighting. Makes sense. Plus, you can go have your duel on your lunch break. There anything else I can ask? No. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask for more details. Okay. You said there were witnesses, about half dozen of them, watching from across the street or peeking through half-open shutters. Were they interviewed? Yes, and their stories lined up with what I just told you. Were any of them known associates of Macready? I'm not aware of any of them being actual friends with Macready, but he was a local, and a lot of people knew him. She gives you a suspicious look. Wait a minute, just where are you going with objection? Oh, come on. Any one of those people could have interceded on Macready's behalf. What? And done what, exactly? Well, they could have shot Timsfield with a more accurate weapon, like a rifle, or then there'd have been 2 gunshots instead of just 1. Or are you suggesting they shot him with a poison blowgun dart? Well, was he tested for poison? Ah. Dang it. I'm coming back. We're gonna get this right this time. Again. Okay, we've already asked all the questions, I think. Okay. Okay, so we know what weapons they were using, we know there were witnesses. He fired at exactly noon? Yes, as soon as the church bells started ringing. You also mentioned Macready's pocket watch. Yes, he had a fancy pocket watch that chimed on the hour. Is that important for some reason? He was cheating. Macready would have been accused of cheating in the past, and this time he was. What are you even talking about? All he had to do was set his watch a few seconds early. That doesn't make any sense. He didn't shoot early, he shot when the church bells rang. That's verified by witness testimony. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he used the watch to warn him when the church bells were about to ring. A 5-second get-ready alert would have given him a huge advantage in reaction time. Ha! What do you say to that, counselor? You know, I'll give you that one. That's not bad. There's just 2 problems with that argument. Oh? What? Firstly, you're guessing. You have no evidence. Ah, well. And secondly, even if Macready was using that trick, which he may well have been, he was pretty clever, but it wouldn't be illegal. What? There's nothing in dual law prohibiting the use of minor strategies like that. So as long as Macready didn't fire before the appointed time, it's all above board. Nice try, Mr. Prosecutor, but I think you'd better go and think about this case a bit more before trying again. Gosh dang it! Again! Okay. Holy frick, my voice hurts. Okay, So Macready fired as soon as the church bells struck noon. Yes, that's what I just said. Have you a point to make, or are you just stalling for time to think? Objection! What the heck? Macready fired at the wrong time. What are you talking about? He fired at exactly noon, with the church bells. There are witnesses. That's right, he fired at clock noon, but the duel was set for high noon. They aren't the same thing. High noon is when the sun is just at its highest point in the sky. Depending on geography and the time of year, it can be hours different from clock noon. Macready fired early. That makes the duel illegal. So what do you have to say to that, counselor? Felicity gives you a slow smile. I've got to hand it to you, Prosecutor Holliday. You're a lot better at this than I was giving you credit for. That's a good thought you had there. There's just one problem with it. Oh? What's that? I already thought it. Take that. She hurls a small book at you, which you just barely managed to catch. What the heck is this? The 1878 Nautical Almanac. I did my homework when I was preparing for that trial. My legal homework. Since, at the time, I expected there to be an actual trial, not a gunfight. What you're holding there is a nautical almanac for the year 1878. There are bookmarks if you'd like to do the math yourself, but if you look up solar noon, aka high noon, for June 18th and make the adjustment for Reno's longitude, what do you think you get? You have got to be kidding me. That's right, Mr. Prosecutor. 12 o'clock p.m. precisely. No! Nice try, though. I mean it sincerely. That's all my ammo. I can't think of another way to disprove McCrady's innocence. As far as I can see, it was a fair duel. Yes, and that's me with the guilt of an innocent man's death on my hands. An innocent man's death. You sure are good at repeating what people say. What if he didn't die? Say what now? Well, you didn't actually see the execution, right? Yes, well, I was indisposed, you might say, being dead and all. So you don't actually know whether or not it happened. Oh, come on. Look, I appreciate the effort, but you're barking at the moon. Let me ask you something. All right, go ahead. Fudge, if I choose the wrong thing, am I gonna have to do this over again? What can you tell me about McCready? He was a gunfighter, through and through. And by that, I mean he was an adrenaline addict. He was dueling, and dueling was his needle of choice. Heck, if you told me you had evidence that he cheated at poker with the specific intent of baiting people into challenging him to duels, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. He was a sly one. Her expression softens, and she sighs. I make him sound like a real devil. That's not fair. He was smart and charming, and could have been a good man if he had chosen an entirely different life for himself. Anything else? Well, I recall he had a real good head for numbers. He told me that he never forgot a date, and every man he'd ever killed, he'd remember to pour a beer on their grave on their birthday. Well, that's nice. A nicer birthday present would have been having not killed them in the first place, of course. Yup. I have another question. Was the trial right after the duel, the 19th? Ha, no. I don't know what Reno's like now, but it didn't have a proper courthouse then, and you can't try a murder charge in the sheriff's front parlor. McCready sat in trial for a couple of weeks, and then they transported him to Frisco. With one thing and another, the trial didn't start until July 25th. Geez, so much for the right to a speedy trial. The wheels grind slow. I have another question. Why did he invoke trial by combat? Assuming he was innocent, why would McCready invoke trial by combat? His case was pretty straightforward. A duel only worsened his odds. I was mighty surprised, let me tell you. The only thing I can figure is it was his sense of gunfighter's pride, or something like unto that, was the only form of justice he was willing to submit himself to. I have another question. When was it the execution? Well, we held the trial by combat on the 26th, and that was a Friday. They don't execute prisoners on the weekend, so presumably it would have been the following Monday, the 29th. In the morning? What with setting up the gallows and letting a crowd gather, they usually happened in the afternoon, around 3, typically. I have another question. I don't have another question. Holy frick, info dump. Okay. Oh, hi. Okay. What if I looked up the dates? Is that a thing that could be a thing? Put a date in it. This book is almost entirely tables and numbers, labeled things by, like logarithm of the radius vector of Earth. Why, you could look up any day in the year 1878 in it, though who knows if you'll be able to figure out something from what it gives you. What if, hear me out here, what if, so he was transported to Frisco, and his execution was 3 p.m. on the 26th of July. What if that was high noon in that specific area? Hold on. May, June, July. I want to look at July. Pick a day. I want July 26th. That was the day Felicity Wainwright was killed in trial by combat. Sad, there doesn't seem to be anything astronomically specific. Fudge, I messed up. What was the date he was killed again? Okay, the trial started on July 25th. When was the execution? Monday the 29th. Okay, so Monday, July 29th. Okay. We're thinking. We're using our big brain. Look up a date. July. Pick a day. The 29th. That was when MacReady was going to be executed. Let's see. Wow, wait a minute. According to this, there was a total eclipse of the sun that day, centered right up over the Western Territories, and with its totality at 2:47 p.m. That's a heck of a thing. Hey, I got a question for you. I just looked up July 29th in your almanac. And get this, there was a total eclipse of the sun that day. What? Now you're just messing with me. No, look for yourself. Totality at 2:47 p.m. right over the Western Territories. Well, that's quite a thing. I don't see how that affects... Wait, unless you're suggesting... Right, it's the perfect opportunity for MacReady to escape. That's absurd. Absurd like a fox. You said yourself that MacReady was really good at remembering dates. He could have read about the eclipse at any time and stored that knowledge away for his future use, like to give himself an advantage in a duel or something. Alright, that's reasonable as far as it goes, but MacReady couldn't have worked the eclipse into an escape plan because he didn't have any say over the court schedule. You said, with one thing and another, the trial didn't start until July 25th. MacReady could have caused any number of those delays himself, by faking illness in prison, or messing with the horses on the ride to Frisco, or anything. This could also explain the trial by combat. You mean... There ended up being too much delay, so if a regular trial went on too long and he was found guilty, he'd have missed the eclipse. Exactly, whereas if he called for a trial by combat, everything would be resolved one way or another in only one more day. Maybe you'd win and that'd be fine, but if you lost, he could use his escape plan. I have to admit, that's pretty compelling, but it's all maybes and what-ifs. Yeah, maybe it happened, but maybe MacReady was rescued by leprechauns. Oh man, are there leprechauns in Frisco? You need some kind of hard evidence before this is any more than just a fun story. Is what I mean. Okay, well, let me ask you something else. How can I find evidence of MacReady's escape? Well, we don't know that an escape even happened. True. Something like that would have been in the news, for certain. Okay, let's see what I can find. Okay. Dude, we're speaking legalese. Let's go. We're going to the library. Dang it. Like, escape. Nope. Fudge. Okay. Oh yeah, I was going to give those to Florence. Hey, you. Just in case we need to fight, I got something for you. Medicinal gas? Interesting. Hey, do you have any old newspapers? Yes, we have a small archive of the Frisco Newsinator dating back about 20 years. They're in the stacks. You shouldn't have trouble locating them. They're delicate, so please be careful. What stacks? Oh, you find a few bundles of old newspapers at the bottom of the shelf. The Frisco Newsinator. You start at the bottom of the stack and flip through them until you find the paper for the week July 28, August 3rd, 1878. The main feature has to do with the eclipse and various accidents and spectacles that occurred because most people weren't expecting it. The editor apologized for burying the announcement in the previous week's weather forecast. Most notably, all 3 men scheduled to be hanged on the 29th escaped in the confusion, and only 2 of them were recaptured. Unfortunately, their names aren't given. Keep looking. You don't find anything else relevant to the case. However, as you're putting the newspapers back in order on the shelf, a headline on a more recent issue catches your eye. Husband of famous inventor missing. The article is light on information, but apparently Mrs. Gunn's husband, Dan, vanished on the road while traveling to Dirtwater on business about 6 years ago. Law enforcement suspects bandits, but no evidence was found. That's kind of grim. Okay. Frick. Get out of the way, Florence. Dude, we're cooking. We're cooking. What time is it? 11:11. Oh no. Felicity Wainwright greets you with a gloomy nod. Hey, I've got a question. I found a newspaper article. The guys scheduled to be executed the day of the eclipse escaped, and one of them was never caught. Which one? Well, didn't say, did it? Nope, dang it. And executed criminals aren't given gravestones with their names on them, so you can't just go looking around the Frisco cemetery to find out. Listen, Otis, I really appreciate what you're trying to do, but at this point you would have to actually find McRady himself to prove that he wasn't executed due to my failure. Well, I guess that's what I'll do then. How the frick do I find him? What? How the flip am I supposed to do that? McRady, why do I feel like I know the name? Oh, this is gonna have to be a mystery for next time, lads. We got so much done. This was good. Oh. Dude, we did good. Yeah, no, this'll have to be a mystery for next time. Appreciate y'all for watching, and I guess I'll see you next time, nerds.